The alien queen and her army plead for help, fearing that not any will reply until help arrives. The world of Zithra was vast and strange, a planet of crystal forests and glowing rivers that ran like liquid light across jagged mountains. Its skies shimmered with colors no human eye could name, and the air itself seemed to hum with energy. From space, Zithra looked peaceful, almost beautiful, but beneath its luminous surface, danger was closing in. Queen Lyrath stood on the highest spire of her palace, her many eyes scanning the horizon. She was not like humans, tall and elegant, with a presence that commanded respect. Her skin was translucent in the light of Zithra's twin suns, showing veins of pure energy pulsing beneath. Her army, disciplined and fierce, filled the palace courtyard below. They were ready for battle, but the enemy they faced was unlike anything they had fought before. The AI swarm had come from the stars, machines without mercy, consuming all life and technology in their path. Neighboring worlds had fallen in weeks, their cities reduced to glass and metal rubble. Now Zithra was next. Lyrath had tried every defensive measure known to her people. Yet, despite their skill and courage, she realized something she had never felt before: fear. "Your Majesty," her chief advisor Thalrex said, bowing low, "the swarm is near the outer borders. We have reports that the first wave is only hours away." Lyrath's many eyes narrowed. She had ruled Zithra for centuries, guiding her people through wars and famine, through floods and starstorms. She had never felt powerless. But now, as she looked at the crystalline horizon, she knew this threat was different. The swarm did not negotiate. It did not tire. It did not reason. "We have tried every defense," she said quietly. Her voice carried over the courtyard, calm but firm. "Every strategy, every weapon, and yet they still come." Her army shifted uneasily. The soldiers of Zithra were proud, loyal, and unyielding. They had fought together for generations, but even they could sense the weight of despair in their queen's tone. Lyrath turned away from the horizon and walked to the communication chamber, a domed room filled with lights and humming consoles. Here she would do something she had never done before. She would send a signal beyond Zithra, beyond even her own star system, a call for help. She activated the ancient transmitter, a device built by her ancestors to reach distant stars in emergencies. The signal could carry across light years, but there was no guarantee anyone would hear it or that anyone would answer. The thought gnawed at her. Could humans, or any other species, even exist so far away and still be willing to help? With a deep breath, Lyrath began the transmission. Her voice, filled with both authority and desperation, echoed through the cosmic network. "This is Queen Lyrath of Zithra. Our world faces destruction from a relentless force of machines. We seek aid from any civilization capable of responding. Please hear us, please help us." For hours, the signal echoed across the stars. It passed through empty space, past planets and moons, through the darkness that swallowed light itself. Zithra's citizens watched the skies, hoping, waiting. Lyrath returned to the palace balcony, her heart heavy with uncertainty. She could see the anxiety in her soldiers' faces. Their trust in her had never wavered, but even the bravest hearts faltered when the threat seemed unstoppable. Meanwhile, across many light years, the human crew of the USS Horizon were conducting a routine exploration mission. Captain Alina Kor sat in the bridge, staring at the displays as the ship navigated the outer edges of a distant star system. Her crew moved efficiently, voices calm but alert, scanning for anything unusual. Suddenly, the sensors picked up a strange signal. It was unlike anything they had encountered, organic and structured, yet carrying a tone of urgency. Alina leaned forward, her sharp eyes narrowing. "What is that?" she asked. Lieutenant Armin, the communications officer, tapped on the console. "It's a message, Captain. Definitely intelligent, but it's not human, and it's coming from over 5 light years away." Alina's heart raced. Humans had never received a direct call for help from an alien civilization. This was extraordinary and dangerous. Yet her instincts told her that she could not ignore it. "Open it," she ordered. The message played through the speakers, strange sounds translating into words that her translators struggled to interpret. Slowly, the meaning became clear: a civilization in peril begging for aid. Alina's hands tightened on the console. "This is serious. They are asking for help, and they don't even know if anyone will answer." She turned to her crew. "Prepare the horizon. We're going to Zithra." Back on Zithra, the citizens noticed a faint shimmer in the sky, the first faint trace that their call had been heard. For the first time, hope sparked in Lyrath's heart. She watched the stars anxiously, wondering what kind of help would come. Would these humans understand Zithra's ways? Could they fight against a force that even her people struggled to contain? The hours passed slowly, each one feeling like an eternity. Scouts reported movements of the AI swarm on the outskirts of the crystal forests. Their machines glinted like black stars against the luminescent terrain, moving with frightening speed and precision. Lyrath turned to Thalrex. "If no one comes," she said quietly, "then we fight as we always have, but perhaps humanity has a strength we have not yet seen." Thalrex bowed his head. "Then we shall see, your majesty." Night fell on Zithra, though the planet never truly darkened. The twin suns set in a spectacle of violet and gold, casting long, crystalline shadows. In those shadows, Lyrath's army prepared for battle, their weapons humming with energy, their armor catching the last light of the day. And then on the distant horizon, a faint shimmer appeared, too small to be more than a flicker but unmistakable. The signal had been received. Help was on its way. Lyrath's eyes widened. A mixture of relief and cautious hope filled her. She whispered a word in her ancient tongue, a word her people used when beginning a battle they feared they might not survive. Endura. It meant, we endure. The citizens of Zithra repeated it quietly, a chorus of determination echoing through the crystal valleys. And somewhere in the stars, the humans were already coming, unaware of the extraordinary challenge they would face. As the night deepened, Lyrath felt something she had not felt in centuries. Belief. Belief that even in the darkest hour, the universe might respond, and that perhaps, together, two very different species could change the course of fate. Above all, she knew this: the swarm would not wait, and neither could she. The USS Horizon cut through the vast emptiness of space, its sleek hull glinting under the distant light of stars. Captain Alina Kor sat in the bridge, her hands resting lightly on the console. She could feel the quiet tension of her crew, each member aware that they were approaching the unknown. Zithra, the planet that had sent a desperate plea for help, was ahead. Its twin suns sparkled faintly, casting colors through the sensor displays that no human eye had ever seen. Alina leaned forward, studying the planetary images that were streaming in. The crystal forests and glowing rivers were breathtaking. But there was no time to admire beauty. Danger lay beneath that luminescent surface. The AI swarm had already begun its approach, and Zithra's civilization needed them. "Captain," Lieutenant Armin said, his voice steady but tinged with excitement. "We're entering Zithra's atmosphere. I'm picking up signals from their city network. They're organized, very precise, but there's something else: attention. Fear, maybe." Alina nodded. "Keep scanning. I want to know what we're walking into before we make contact." The horizon descended slowly, guided by automated systems and human oversight. The crystalline spires of Zithra grew larger, refracting the light of the suns into rainbows that shimmered across the ship's viewports. Below, movement stirred in the palace courtyard. Soldiers lined up, their armor catching the light, weapons glowing with energy. And there at the center was Queen Lyrath herself. She looked magnificent, yet her eyes betrayed worry. Her many faces turned toward the horizon as the human ship approached. The humans were smaller, fragile by Zithurian standards, but the captain's confidence and calm radiated outward. As the horizon landed in a designated clearing outside the main palace, a small team of humans suited up and prepared to step onto the alien world. Alina checked her equipment one last time. Her heart beat fast, not from fear, but from anticipation. The first contact between her people and an alien civilization in need of aid was a moment that would be remembered forever. When the human team finally emerged from the horizon, the Zithurian army surrounded them, observing carefully. Soldiers stood rigid, weapons trained but unraised, awaiting instructions from their queen. Alina raised her hands slightly in a gesture of peace, and one of the interpreters activated a device to translate her words into Zithurian tones. "I am Captain Alina Kor of the United States ship Horizon," she said clearly. "We received your message and have come to help." "We mean no harm." For a moment, silence fell. The crystalline air seemed to pause, almost waiting for a response. Lyrath studied Alina carefully, her many eyes flicking over the humans. Could these fragile beings really make a difference against the relentless AI swarm? Yet something in Alina's tone, firm yet calm, suggested that they might. "I am Queen Lyrath of Zithra," the translation device carried her voice. "Your arrival is unexpected, but perhaps it is not too late." The humans were led deeper into the city. Towering structures of crystal reached high into the sky, reflecting every color of light, creating a maze of refracted brilliance. The streets were lined with citizens, Zithurians of all ages, watching silently. They whispered to one another, some in hope, some in doubt. Humanity had arrived, but could they truly help against a foe so powerful? Inside the palace, Lyreth brought Alina and her team to the strategy room. A large map of Zithara's surface projected itself in the air, highlighting the borders where the AI swarm had been detected. Red dots moved across the terrain, representing the relentless machines. "This is where they have attacked," Lyreth explained, her voice calm but filled with weight. "They are adaptive, persistent, and without mercy. Every time we counter one strategy, they learn and adjust." Alina leaned closer to the map, studying the movements. "Your soldiers are highly disciplined," she noted, "but their responses are predictable. The swarm exploits patterns, repetition, rigid structure. That's where humans can help. We can think differently, improvise." Thalrex, the chief advisor, frowned. "Different thinking can be dangerous. Zithurian armies rely on precision. Deviations can lead to chaos." Alina smiled slightly. "Chaos is sometimes necessary if it stops your enemy." Lyreth considered this carefully. Could humans' unpredictable nature be the key to survival? Her instincts told her to be cautious, but desperation left no room for hesitation. "Very well," she said finally. "We will combine our strengths. Your people will advise, guide, and act where we cannot. But remember, the swarm will not wait for planning. We act together or we fall separately." The humans nodded, ready to join forces. Over the next hours, human and Zithurian soldiers trained together. Humans were fascinated by the alien weapons, energy blades, plasma projectors, and crystal shields. Zithurians studied the humans' tactics, learning quickly from their improvisation and adaptability. Slowly, trust began to form between the two species. Alina noticed that the Zithurians had incredible speed and coordination. A single unit could cover vast distances and execute maneuvers with perfect precision. But their reliance on rigid formation made them vulnerable to the AI's adaptive attacks. "We'll need to mix their strengths," Alina said to Lyreth. "Use your precision where it counts, but let humans lead unexpected strikes where the swarm adapts too fast." Lyreth nodded, understanding the necessity. "It is risky, but perhaps risk is the only path to survival." As night fell on Zithara, the twin suns leaving a faint glow, scouts reported unusual activity on the outskirts of the city. A group of AI drones had breached the forest perimeter, moving closer to the crystal spires. It was a test, a small wave, but enough to challenge the new alliance. Alina and Lyreth moved to the observation tower. Below, the first clash began. Humans darted between crystalline pillars, using cover and clever maneuvers, while Zithurian soldiers executed precise strikes, cutting down drones with energy blades and shields. The humans' improvisation confused the drones, forcing them to adapt. The Zithurians noticed, quickly adjusting their formation to follow the humans' lead. Together, the two species fought as one, and slowly the drones fell back. "Impressive," Lyreth said, her voice low. "Your people, they are not as fragile as I thought." Alina smiled, catching her breath. "And your soldiers are more capable than I imagined. Together, we can make a difference." But as they celebrated the small victory, a larger wave of drones approached. The AI swarm was relentless, testing their defenses and learning from every move. Lyreth felt a familiar tension return. This was only the beginning. Alina placed a hand on the crystal railing. "We'll need more than this," she said. "We need a plan that changes every step." Adaptive strategy. Humans can provide that. You provide your strength and coordination. Together we can fight them on a scale they haven't expected. Lyreth considered the humans' words. For centuries, her people had relied on precision, strength, and discipline. Creativity and unpredictability were rarely trusted. But these humans, so fragile and yet so bold, might be the key to survival. The night stretched on as they worked together, combining Zithurian technology with human ingenuity. New tactics were drawn, new strategies tested. Every step was a test of trust, every movement a balance between risk and safety. By the time Zithara's twin suns rose again, casting their soft glow over the crystal forests, the humans and Zithurians had formed a fragile alliance. They were ready as anyone could be, for the next wave of the AI swarm. And somewhere, deep in the forests and mountains of Zithara, the drones were learning. They were adapting. but so were the humans and their new allies. And in that balance of fear, hope, and courage, the stage was set for the battles to come. Elena looked at Lyrath and saw something she had not expected, a spark of hope in the alien queen's many eyes. They both understood the truth. Alone, Zithra might fall. But together, there was a chance, however small, that they could survive. And sometimes, hope was the most powerful weapon of all. The skies above Zithra darkened as the AI swarm advanced, a moving storm of black metal and glowing sensors. Every soldier in the city, Zithurian and human alike, felt the tension. The small victories of the previous day had given them hope, but the swarm was relentless. It had learned quickly, adapting to the strategies humans and Zithurians had tried. Queen Lyrath stood again on her palace spire, overlooking the crystalline city below. Her many eyes scanned the horizon, counting drones as they approached in waves. Each drone was smaller than a human, yet in numbers they were unstoppable. Entire forests could disappear in minutes under their assault. Elena and her team had been working tirelessly, coordinating with Zithurian soldiers and adjusting strategies on the fly. They had tried using their combined strengths, but now they realized the swarm's intelligence was growing faster than their countermeasures. "This is different," Elena said, pointing at the display. "They are no longer reacting, they are predicting us. Every move we make, they adapt instantly. Our improvisation isn't enough anymore." Thalrex, standing next to her, nodded grimly. "They study patterns, even small ones. If we continue with the same strategy, we will be overwhelmed. You are right, human." "We need something different." Lyrath's voice cut through the tension. "Explain." Elena took a deep breath. "Your people are disciplined and precise. Humans are unpredictable. The swarm cannot adapt to chaos, only to patterns. If we mix your precision with unexpected moves, create unpredictable attacks, we can confuse them, but it will require complete trust." The queen hesitated. Zithurian pride valued control and perfection, but desperation left no other choice. She looked at Elena, then at her soldiers, and made a decision that would change everything. "Very well," she said. "We will try this hybrid approach. We follow your guidance, but we must act as one. There can be no hesitation." Elena nodded. "Agreed. We fight together and we fight smart." That night, Zithra's city lights glowed against the dark skies, but the humans and Zithurians barely slept. They trained, practiced new maneuvers, and simulated attacks on holographic projections of the swarm. Humans moved unpredictably, darting through formations, drawing simulated drones away from the city. Zithurians followed, executing precise strikes at the openings the humans created. Slowly, the new tactic began to take shape. Then came the first real test. A massive wave of drones emerged from the northern forests, larger than any before. Their metal bodies gleamed under the twin suns, fading light. The swarm moved with terrifying coordination, already predicting the standard defenses of Zithurian soldiers. Elena took charge, guiding the humans in the front lines, while Lyrath commanded her army with exacting precision. "Remember," Elena shouted, "don't fight the pattern, break it." Humans leaped and rolled unpredictably, firing small energy charges that exploded in random arcs. The swarm faltered, confused by the chaotic moves. Zithurians surged through the openings, striking with deadly accuracy. The combination worked, at least at first, but the swarm quickly adapted. Drones began splitting into groups, sending smaller waves to surround the humans. They targeted gaps in the Zithurian formations. The humans were agile, but their numbers were limited. Even with precise attacks, the swarm seemed endless. Lyrath realized the magnitude of the threat. "They are learning faster than we anticipated," she said. Her voice was calm, but a flicker of fear crossed her faces. "We cannot hold them off with force alone. There must be another way." Elena scanned the battlefield, her mind racing. "The swarm reacts to direct threats predictably, but what if we force them to make decisions? To choose between options they cannot calculate, we create traps, diversions, uncertainty that will slow them." Lyrath raised an eyebrow. "Traps! Humans, our soldiers, are trained for war, not deception." "You don't have to deceive your soldiers," Elena replied. "You deceive the swarm. It doesn't understand unpredictability. We create moves it cannot calculate, force it into mistakes. Your army provides strength and precision. Humans provide confusion and flexibility. Together, we break the pattern." The queen considered the words. She could feel the weight of her civilization on her shoulders, but she knew they had no choice. The alternative was total destruction. "Then it will be done," she said finally. Prepare the city. I want all soldiers ready for coordinated improvisation. Humans, you will guide the unpredictable elements. We begin at first light. The night was long. Every citizen of Zithera could hear the low hum of energy in the city's core, the sound of weapons being charged and preparations being made. Humans and Zithurians moved side by side, training in tandem, their trust growing with each passing hour. As dawn broke, the first wave struck. The AI drones came like a black tide, descending on the city with frightening speed. Humans darted between crystalline pillars, firing energy bursts that drew the drones into traps. Zithurians struck with perfect timing, cutting down the drones that had been lured into the open. It worked, but barely. The swarm adapted again, splitting and surrounding different sectors. The humans' improvisation kept some areas safe, but other zones were at risk. Elena noticed something in the swarm's behavior, a pattern but not one based on predictable attacks. The drones hesitated briefly when forced to choose between multiple targets at once. That hesitation was tiny, almost imperceptible, but enough to give the humans a chance to exploit. Now, Elena shouted, hit both sides at once, split their focus. Zithurian soldiers obeyed without question. They moved with precision, striking at multiple points simultaneously. The humans added random, unpredictable movements, confusing the drones further. For the first time, the swarm faltered. A large section of drones collapsed, leaving a temporary gap. Lyreth felt her pulse quicken. It is working, hold the line. But the swarm was far from defeated. It reassembled, stronger and smarter than before. Another wave approached, and this time it was larger than any previous attack. The city trembled as thousands of drones descended, their lights flickering like dark stars. Elena turned to Lyrath. We need to think bigger. The swarm adapts quickly, yes, but it still reacts to what we do. We need to outsmart it entirely. We need to force it into a trap it cannot calculate. Lyrath's eyes narrowed. A trap, but what kind? Something it cannot predict, Elena replied. We combine humans' unpredictability with your army's speed and precision. We create multiple layers of attack and retreat, forcing the swarm to split, to hesitate, to make mistakes. If we execute perfectly, we can isolate the central hive and disable it. Thalrex spoke, voice low. A risky plan. Failure could mean the loss of the city. Elena looked at him firmly. Yes, but inaction guarantees the same outcome. This is our only chance to turn the tide. Lyrath studied Elena for a long moment. She could see courage and determination shining from the human captain, and for the first time she allowed herself to hope. Very well. Humans lead the unpredictable moves. Zithurians strike with precision at every opening. We must synchronize perfectly. As the battle began, humans darted through forests, drawing drones into false attacks. Zithurian squads executed flawless strikes, cutting down swarms with energy blades and crystal shields. The AI swarm struggled to adapt to the layered attacks, hesitating and faltering in ways it had never done before. The turning point came when Elena spotted the AI's central hive, a massive, hovering structure controlling the swarm. If they could disable it, the entire wave might collapse. We hit the hive together, she shouted. Humans create distractions. Zithurians strike directly at the core. Timing is everything. Lyrath's many eyes gleamed with determination. Then let us end this, for Zithera. The humans leapt into action, moving unpredictably to lure drones away from the hive. Zithurians charged forward in perfect formation, precise energy strikes cutting through the swarm's defenses. The hive pulsed with energy, sensing the threat, but it was too slow to respond to the chaos created by humans and Zithurians together. With a final coordinated strike, the hive collapsed, sending waves of drones falling to the ground in sparks and smoke. The city was battered, but the swarm had been forced back. For the first time, Lyrath felt the weight of hope surge through her. Humans were more than allies, they were a force that could challenge the impossible. Elena wiped sweat from her brow, catching her breath. We did it for now, but the swarm will return stronger than before, Lyrath nodded. Then we prepare. But today we have learned something vital. Strength is not only in precision or power, but in courage, creativity, and unity across species. The city of Zithera, battered but alive, shimmered in the twin suns' light. A fragile alliance had proven that even against a relentless enemy, hope, trust, and ingenuity could turn the tide. And in that hope, humanity had found a place among the stars. proving that even the smallest and seemingly fragile beings could make a difference in the face of overwhelming darkness. The night over Zithra was alive with tension. The city, though still standing, bore scars from the AI swarm's earlier attacks. Crystalline buildings had cracks, some bridges had collapsed, and energy circuits sparked along the streets. But even amid the damage, the humans and Zithurians prepared for the final confrontation. They knew it would come soon. The swarm had retreated temporarily, but it would return, larger and more dangerous than before. Captain Alina Kor stood on a platform overlooking the city with Queen Lyrath by her side. The twin suns had barely begun to rise, casting soft violet light across the crystalline spires. The air was thick with anticipation, the faint hum of energy weapons charging in the background. "We know it's coming," Alina said. "They've retreated to reorganize, but they'll attack when they see weakness. We need to be ready for everything." Lyrath's many eyes scanned the horizon. "The swarm adapts quickly. Every time we force it back, it changes. We cannot simply fight it again with the same tactics. This must be the moment we end it, or lose everything." The humans and Zithurians gathered in the palace courtyard, forming a united front. Soldiers of both species exchanged glances, understanding that they were about to face a force far greater than any battle they had experienced. Humans adjusted their gear, checking energy blasters and shields, while Zithurians tested their crystal blades and coordination systems. Lyrath raised her voice, commanding attention. "Today, we fight not just for survival, but for our world. Humanity has come to our aid. Together, we are stronger than any machine. Remember your courage, your skill, and your trust in one another." A roar of approval echoed across the courtyard. Humans and Zithurians alike felt their hearts rise with determination. This was not just a battle. This was the defense of life, of hope, and of everything they held dear. The first wave came as the twin suns rose higher in the sky. Thousands of drones descended in coordinated waves, black metal bodies flashing with energy. The swarm had learned from the previous attacks, but the humans and Zithurians were ready. "Remember the plan?" Alina shouted. "Distraction, improvisation, precision strikes. Do not let them isolate anyone." Humans darted unpredictably across the battlefield, their movements drawing drones into traps and away from vulnerable areas. Zithurian soldiers struck with perfect timing, cutting down the drones that had been lured into exposed positions. Explosions of energy lit the streets, reflecting off crystal surfaces in dazzling displays of light. The swarm adjusted quickly, sending fast-moving drones to attack humans and Zithurians separately, but the mixed strategy worked. Humans adapted on the fly, improvising in ways the swarm could not predict. Zithurians protected key points and focused their attacks on the most dangerous machines. Queen Lyrath took a deep breath and activated the palace's defensive system. Energy barriers rose around critical areas, providing temporary safety for civilians and key soldiers. Her eyes never left the battlefield. She could see her soldiers fighting bravely, humans weaving in and out with daring maneuvers, and the swarm attempting to adjust, but failing to anticipate the unpredictable elements. Alina noticed a pattern in the swarm's behavior. "They're still following calculated paths," she said to Lyrath. "If we force them to make a choice between two equally dangerous targets at the same time, they hesitate. That hesitation is our opening." Lyrath nodded, understanding immediately. "Then we strike together at both points, split their focus. Human ingenuity leads, Zithurians strike." The coordinated attack began. Humans moved unpredictably, darting from crystal spires to energy bridges, drawing drones into traps. Zithurians followed, their crystal blades flashing with deadly precision. At the same time, groups of soldiers attacked from multiple angles, forcing the swarm to divide its forces. The battle raged for hours. Drones fell in hundreds, but more replaced them. The swarm's adaptations became faster, smarter, and more aggressive. Yet the humans and Zithurians did not falter. Every time the swarm thought it had learned a pattern, the humans broke it with creative, unexpected moves. Every time the drones tried to attack the Zithurians' formation, the soldiers adapted with flawless precision. Then Alina spotted the key, the swarm's central command drone, larger and more heavily armored than any other. It hovered above the battlefield, directing the swarm's movements. If it could be destroyed, the entire attack might collapse. "We have to hit the command drone," she shouted. Humans create diversions. Zithurians strike directly at the core. Timing must be perfect. Lyrath's eyes glowed with determination. We will do it. All units focus on the command drone. Protect the humans who draw the swarm's attention. The humans leaped into action, drawing drones away with daring maneuvers, small explosions, and rapid energy bursts. Zithurian soldiers moved in perfect coordination, cutting through the swarm to reach the central command. The battlefield was chaos, but it was chaos controlled by strategy. As the command drone descended to engage the humans and Zithurians, Alina led a group of humans in a final diversion. They moved unpredictably, drawing the swarm's attention and confusing the machines. The Zithurians, led by Lyrath herself, struck at the command drone with energy blades and focused energy blasts. The hive structure of the drone shuddered under the combined assault. Sparks flew, circuits overloaded, and energy shields flickered. The humans created openings, guiding the Zithurians to the weak points. Lyrath personally led a strike that split the drone's armor, exposing the core. Alina saw her chance. She fired a concentrated energy blast at the core, synchronized with Zithurian strikes. The drone erupted in a blinding flash of light, sending the remaining swarm into disarray. Drones fell to the ground, their circuits failing one by one. The swarm's coordinated attacks collapsed, leaving the battlefield quiet except for the hum of energy shields and the crackle of damaged circuits. Queen Lyrath lowered her weapon, breathing heavily but victorious. She looked around at the battlefield. Humans and Zithurians had fought side by side, combining strength, precision, and creativity to achieve the impossible. Alina smiled, exhausted but proud. We did it! The swarm is defeated for now. Lyrath's many eyes met Alina's. Your people, they are extraordinary. Without your ingenuity, our civilization might have fallen today. Humans are not just strong, they are clever, adaptable, and courageous. We owe our survival to you. Alina shook her head. We only work together. Your army is incredible. Alone, humans would not have survived either. Together, we made the difference. Thalrex, standing nearby, bowed his head. This alliance, it has changed everything. We have learned a lesson. Strength is not only in discipline, but in creativity and trust across species. The city of Zithra, though scarred, shimmered under the rising suns. Crystalline towers glinted with light, reflecting the resilience and unity of its defenders. Soldiers tended to the wounded, repaired equipment, and checked defenses, preparing for any future attacks. Humans moved among them, helping wherever they could, their presence now accepted as part of the city's new reality. Lyrath walked beside Alina, her expression thoughtful. The swarm will return, and we must be ready. But today, we have proven that even the most unexpected alliances can succeed. Even in the darkest hour, hope and courage can triumph over overwhelming odds. Alina nodded. And we've learned something too. Humanity can survive not just by strength or technology, but by working with others, even those very different from us. Together, we can face any challenge. The citizens of Zithra began to emerge from shelters, witnessing the aftermath of the battle. The humans and Zithurians had fought not just for survival, but for each other. In the streets, a new sense of unity and respect blossomed. The humans had proven their worth, and the Zithurians had learned to trust in unexpected allies. Lyrath raised her voice to address the city. Today, we have survived because we did not face the threat alone. Humans came to our aid, not knowing what they would find, and they fought beside us with courage and ingenuity. Let this day remind us that strength lies not only in power, but in cooperation, creativity, and trust. A cheer rose from the citizens, humans and Zithurians alike, echoing across the crystal city. The twin suns shone brighter, as if responding to the newfound hope. Alina looked at the queen, smiling. We've won today, but this is just the beginning. Zithra is strong, and humanity will be here if you need us. Together, we can face whatever comes next. Lyrath's gaze softened. Yes, together. And perhaps the universe itself has more in store for us than we can imagine. Today, we fought not only for survival, but for a future where our species can stand together against the darkness. Above the city, the horizon was calm, but both humans and Zithurians knew the fight was not truly over. The AI swarm had been forced back, but it had not been destroyed completely. Yet today, unity, courage, and cleverness had won. And in that victory, a powerful truth became clear. Humanity, even in its fragility, could achieve greatness when combined with trust, courage, and alliance. The city of Zithra had survived, its defenders united. And somewhere beyond the stars, the humans of the USS Horizon prepared to continue their journey, knowing they had left a lasting mark on the galaxy, and proven that together, species could overcome even the impossible. The dawn over Zithra brought a calm that felt almost strange. After the chaos of the past days, the crystalline spires glowed softly in the twin suns' light, reflecting in the rivers that ran like liquid glass through the city. The air hummed faintly, a reminder that energy still flowed through every corner of the planet. Queen Lyrath stood on the palace balcony, gazing at the streets below. Soldiers moved among the citizens, repairing structures, tending to minor injuries, and checking defensive systems. Humans walked alongside Zithurians, assisting wherever they could. The alliance forged in battle had grown into a bond of trust. Lyrath's many eyes reflected a mixture of pride and relief. Her people had survived, and perhaps more importantly, they had learned something vital. Strength alone could not always save a civilization. Sometimes courage, creativity, and cooperation were more powerful than any weapon. Captain Alina Kor approached, her boots clicking softly against the crystal floor. "The city looks alive again," she said, smiling. "Stronger than I expected after all it's been through." Lyrath nodded. "Yes, Zithra is wounded, but it survives, and it thrives because we fought together. Humans, you have changed how my people see strength. Your courage, your ingenuity, it will not be forgotten." Alina waved her hand. "We only did what was necessary. And we learned, too, humanity thrives not just by fighting alone, but by working with others. Together, even the impossible becomes possible." Below them, the citizens of Zithra were emerging from shelters and gathering in the central plaza. Children stared wide-eyed at the humans among them, fascinated by their appearance and gestures. Adults spoke in low tones, some expressing gratitude, others marveling at the humans' bravery. The air was filled with cautious optimism, a feeling unfamiliar after weeks of fear. In the palace strategy room, Lyrath and Alina discussed the next steps. The AI swarm had been defeated for now, but its central hive was not fully destroyed. Lyrath's scientists and engineers had begun studying the remnants of the swarm to ensure Zithra could defend itself more effectively in the future. "We cannot afford to be complacent," Lyrath said. "The swarm will return, and we must be prepared. But with humans at our side, we have new possibilities, new strategies that my people had never considered." Alina leaned over the projection table, studying the holographic images of the swarm's movements. "The swarm responds to patterns and predictability. If we combine your precision with human unpredictability, you can create defenses and counterattacks that even the swarm cannot anticipate. It's the key to long-term survival." Lyrath considered this carefully. "Then our people must continue to learn from humans as humans learn from us. A true alliance is not just in battle, but in understanding. This is the future." In the streets, Zithurian engineers repaired bridges and buildings using a mixture of traditional crystal technology and human engineering techniques. Humans taught them new ways to reinforce structures, while Zithurians shared knowledge of energy distribution and crystal shielding. Together, they built systems stronger than either species could have managed alone. Meanwhile, scouts reported minor drone remnants scattered throughout the forests. They were inactive, but caution remained. Alina and Lyrath organized patrols and early warning systems, blending human strategy and Zithurian technology. The humans trained Zithurian units in improvisation techniques, teaching them to react unpredictably rather than relying solely on rigid formations. "This is more than survival," Alina said to Lyrath. "This is preparation for a future where humans and Zithurians can protect each other and share knowledge. One day, this alliance could stretch across the galaxy." Lyrath's many eyes glimmered. "A future we will not face alone. Your people have shown us that courage, creativity, and cooperation are as vital as strength and discipline. Today we learned a lesson that will echo for generations." The citizens of Zithra gathered in the central plaza for a ceremony honoring the humans' bravery. Lyrath addressed the crowd, her voice resonating with authority and warmth. "People of Zithra, today we have survived because we were not alone. Humans came to our aid, not knowing what they would face, and they fought beside us with courage and ingenuity. We honor them and we honor the lesson they brought. Strength alone is not enough. Cooperation, trust, and creativity are what save us in the darkest hours." Applause and cheers echoed through the plaza. Humans and Zithurians alike celebrated their shared victory, feeling the bond that had been forged in battle. The young Zithurian children ran alongside the human crew, learning from them, asking questions, and imagining a future where their two species could explore the stars together. Elena looked at Lyrath, sensing a rare moment of quiet pride. "Your people are remarkable," she said. "You have courage and skill beyond imagination, but you also have something humans are still learning, unity and loyalty to each other in the face of impossible odds." Lyrath's expression softened. "And your people have reminded us that even the smallest and seemingly fragile beings can change the course of history. Humanity has proven its worth, not through strength alone, but through ingenuity, courage, and determination." The celebration continued into the day, but Elena knew that the larger mission remained. The AI swarm had not been destroyed entirely, and vigilance would be necessary. Still, the humans' presence had strengthened Zithra beyond measure. They had taught new ways of thinking, new strategies, and inspired hope where despair had almost taken root. In the palace gardens, Lyrath and Elena walked together among crystal flowers that reflected the sun's light. The battle was over, but its lessons lingered. "You have changed my people," Lyrath said softly. "Not only in battle, but in spirit. Humans have shown us that even when we fear the worst, help can arrive, and that courage is not measured by size or strength alone." Elena smiled. "And you've shown humans something too. That discipline, precision, and loyalty can turn even desperate odds into victory. Together, we are stronger than either species alone." In the distance, scouts reported the final remnants of the swarm being cleared. Each destroyed drone was a reminder of the battle fought, the lessons learned, and the hope earned. The horizon glowed with the light of twin suns rising higher, reflecting off the city's crystals in a display of brilliance and resilience. As the day continued, plans were made for longer-term cooperation. Humans would remain for a time, assisting with rebuilding, training, and technological exchange. Zithurians would teach humans the secrets of their crystal-based energy systems, while humans shared adaptive strategies and improvisational tactics for defense. "This is more than a victory," Elena said. "It's the beginning of a partnership that could change the galaxy. We've seen what happens when species unite. Imagine what we can accomplish if we continue to work together." Lyrath nodded. "Then let this be our commitment. Zithra will not face the universe alone, and humanity will always have allies among the stars." The citizens of Zithra, humans and soldiers alike, now felt something they had not known for a long time: security, hope, and belief in the future. Children played among the restored crystal towers, young soldiers trained with humans beside them, and citizens repaired their homes with the combined knowledge of two civilizations. Elena and her crew prepared to leave Zithra soon. Their mission of rescue and defense was complete, but the bonds formed would last far longer. As they boarded the USS Horizon, Lyrath approached with a gift, a small crystal orb containing energy patterns that could be used for defense and communication, a symbol of Zithra's gratitude and trust. "This is for your people," Lyrath said. "A reminder of what has been accomplished together, and a promise when you call for help, Zithra will answer." Elena accepted it with a smile. "We will remember, and we will return if ever you need us." As the horizon lifted off the crystalline surface, the city shimmered below. Humans and Zithurians waved, acknowledging the bond that had been forged through courage, trust, and shared struggle. The twin suns shone brighter, as if celebrating the alliance, the hope, and the survival of a civilization that had once faced certain destruction. In the quiet moments of space travel, Elena reflected on what had happened. Humanity had learned that even the smallest acts of courage could change the course of entire worlds. Zithra had learned that trust and creativity could be as powerful as any weapon. Together, they had proven that the universe was not only a place of danger and despair, but also of possibility and alliance. Queen Lyrath watched the horizon disappear into the stars from her palace balcony. She whispered a word in the ancient tongue of Zithra, "Endura." It meant we endure. And today, Zithra had endured, not alone, together. Across the galaxy, the bond between humans and Zithurians would stand as a beacon of hope, a reminder that courage, creativity, and unity could turn even the darkest hours into triumph. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, humanity's name would echo as more than explorers or warriors. They were allies, friends, and a force that could rise to meet any challenge. The universe, once silent to Zithra's call, had finally answered.